Hello everyone, this is John from Compass Rose Bushcraft, and today I want to do a video on my technique for making charcloth that I use with my flint and steel fire. There are lots of videos out about this, but everybody has a technique that's just a little bit different, and so I thought I'd share my thoughts with you and show you the method that I use. And the first thing is that you need to have a tin of some kind that you use. And for mine, I found an old candy tin of some kind or cough drop tin. And it needs to have a snug fitting lid so that it can be fairly airtight. And it looks pretty much like that. It's been used a number of times, so you can see the char and the maker's the label and so on are all missing from it. And the second thing is it needs to have just a small hole, you can see it right there, so that it can vent the gases that come off of the cloth as you're making the char cloth. The second thing is that you need a cotton cloth. At least I have tended to use cotton cloth, but it needs to be a natural fiber like cotton. I suspect linen might also work, although I've never used it. And anything seems to work. I have made it with t-shirts, old used t-shirts, handkerchiefs, but my favorite is either a heavy woven tea towel material, something along that line, dishcloth rather, or alternatively, and this is my favorite so far, is I have an old cotton sort of sweatshirt that is a very heavy material and makes a really great char cloth, so that when once it takes the spark, it has a very robust burn on it that helps you to be able to bring about fire once you put it in the tinder bundle. So what I then do is take this heavy fabric, and I will take sections of it that are large enough to use in the to create the patch of char cloth that I use to start fires. And it's usually a section just over about an inch, inch and a half, a couple of centimeters in width. And you can see this is a seam in this, and it's very tough going here. There we go. So something about that width. I guess that's maybe just about an inch. And then I will cut it into squares. So from there, from about an inch to about an inch and a half, patches of it. Something about that size. Maybe a little larger depending on the tin. And make patches out of it. And I make enough of these to fill my tin. And I'll make another couple of rows of it. Make these ones just a tad larger, I think. So between inch and inch and a half. Between maybe 2 and 3 centimeters, I guess. Something like that. And then once you have created these patches of the size that you desire, you place them in the tin fairly loosely, which I'll do in just a moment. And then so you place them in the tin, and then once they are in the tin, you put the lid on, but just so that it leaves the hole in the tin exposed. And that allows the gases that are coming off of the charring material to escape. And what you're trying to do is to char the material without burning it. So it's the process essentially of making charcoal, heating it in somewhat, not so much of a vacuum, but in an airless environment, so that the initial gases from the charring fabric come off, leaving behind the charcoal cloth. So I'll throw this onto our wood stove here, and you can take a look and see that. And what you do then is you char it until the gases stop escaping from this hole. And once the gases stop escaping from the hole, you tap the lid down to prevent any oxygen from getting in. Let it cool down, and at that point we should have charcloth. So we'll take that and give it a shot, and I'll let you see the process. So here is the process of the charring of the cloth. The tin with the hole still exposed goes in on top of the coals, and I often do this on the barbecue at home, but the wood stove and its coals work very well for this. And I nestle it in there and then wait, and over time you'll start to see the gases escaping from the hole in the side of the tin. And I'll come back once that begins. Now you can see the gases starting to escape from the tin, shooting out from the little hole in the side and creeping out from around the edges of the lid. And that's the fabric beginning to char. And we allow that to continue until such time as the gases stop escaping out, or the smoke stops escaping out from the tin. And now you can see that the smoke has virtually stopped from the tin. We're getting very near to the end of the process. It's been about 10 minutes, but that depends, of course, on how much cloth has been put into the tin. And I will leave it just a moment or two longer, and then I'll pop the tin down, the lid down on the tin, and we'll take it outside to cool, and then we'll see what our charcloth looks like. So here is the final product, and as you can see, the fabric has now charred to a charcoal-like look, and we're going to now, I've made myself a little tinder bundle from jute twine. I'll take one of the new pieces of charcloth and see how it works. Now, I mentioned earlier that I tend to make this from cotton fabric, but any natural fabric such as cotton or linen should work. But traditionally, I gather that this was done with punk wood, wood that in the early stages of decay where it starts to crumble, and you can put it into a tin and do a similar process. I've never tried that. At some point I probably will, and perhaps make a video about it. But this is the basic process that I follow for making charcloth and preparing the charcloth to make flint and steel fire. Need to get the angle on the flint that's going to create spark. And you can see now you can take a look and see that the Charcloth has taken the spark. I'll put that into the tinder bundle. And there is the process of fabric through to charcloth, through to tinder bundle and fire. This is John from Compass Rose Bushcraft, inviting you to like, share and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you.